When Graham Lowe left Wigan some 4 years ago, many people considered it to be the end of an era at Central Park. This, followed by the appointment of the relatively unknown John Money, led to uncertainty, apprehension and, understandably, a fair amount of doubt as well. Well, they needn't have worried. Money, the man who had previously coached Parramatta to success in the grand final, took the bull by the horns, Wigan Rugby League club to even greater heights, and proved to be yet another masterstroke by the board of directors. This tribute to the man whose quiet, unassuming and yet disciplined approach brought unrivalled success to the club features highlights from every major final, exclusive interviews never previously released, and provides an in-depth insight into the man who has surely become a legend at Wigan Rugby League Football Club.
I live on a place called the Central Coast, which is 100 miles out of Sydney, between Sydney and Newcastle. And I used to drive down to training 3 or 4 times a week, but the rest of the time I spent on the coast, lived near the beach, spent all my time at the beach. And then when I took over the first grade job at Parramatta, well, my time was a little bit more valuable, the fact that I had to be in Sydney, and you know, I started to get to Sydney a little bit more, but always stayed on the coast and lived on the coast because I found the beach and the coastal way of living was very relaxing, and it got me out of the hurly-burly of the Sydney League. So very comfortable living on the Central Coast. Originally, I didn't even want to come to Wigan. When Maurice Lindsay rang me, I just had 9 seasons at Parramatta, and I felt I was in need of a rest. So my initial reaction was, no, give me a break. I need a summer on the beach in Australia. And but Maurice was very persistent, and 2 or 3 phone calls later, he talked me into coming. So I was fairly comfortable with the job once I got here. I'd followed Jack Gibson at Parramatta, which was a big step to take, but Jack Gibson and the players at Parramatta were confident that I could do the job, which helped me over my first couple of seasons. And you know, I thought, well, if I've followed Jack Gibson, well, I've got no problems in following Graham Lowe. And Graham Lowe had done a good job at Wigan before I got here, and I'm sure the next coach will do a good job as well.
Were you aware of the importance that Wigan holds in the rugby league circles in the northwest of England?
Well, when I arrived, I wasn't. I was my knowledge of English rugby league was really only Brett Kenny and Peter Sterling playing at Wembley, and they'd come back to Parramatta where I coached them and said what a great event it was, and what a great place to play rugby league was Wembley, and I hadn't really had any interest in English rugby league outside of those 2 players playing at Wembley.
When you arrived here, was Wigan what you expected?
Well, I believe when I first came over that we were supposed to live in a little house here near Central Park, which would have been a bit of a shock. But I told Maurice Lindsay at the time, I said, you better get me away from Central Park and out of the town a little bit, because if some of the results aren't as good as they're supposed to be, I don't want to be too handy to Central Park. So moved into a really nice little house down at Wrightington that Alan and Joan Crompton own, who are good supporters of the club as well, and we've been in that house now for 4 years, and it's been very nice and very comfortable. My first impressions really were when I accepted the job. It's a rugby league job, and I've always just got on with the job and not looked at outside influences too much. You know, like I often tell the players, you know, we can't do anything about the crowd or the weather or the referee, and we've just got to get on with the job, and that's really how I approached my coaching job at Wigan. I wasn't too concerned about things outside of rugby league. I just had a job to do, and when I got here, I settled in to watch the team play for the first month and didn't really do much coaching at all.
Was it a help to have someone like Graham West in charge here when you arrived, albeit in a caretaker capacity?
Well, as it's turned out, Westy was a great help. I faxed a few training programs over to him, and I faxed over some little set pieces that I wanted to start the team using, and he was able to put those things into practice before I got here, and during the 4 years he's been a tremendous help. he's certainly looked after the young players that are coming through at Wigan, and he's a good role model for any of the younger players, and to have the guidance of Graham West at Wigan, Wigan's certainly a lucky club.
You touched on training techniques and everything, and there must be massive differences between the approach to English rugby league and Australian rugby league, especially in the training techniques. Is that right?
Well, the first thing that I did really change was I was quite shocked when I walked into the weights room, and there was no equipment in the weights room, and there were just weights lying all over the floor, and it didn't look like a place where players could go and do any serious training. So I think that was the first major improvement I made to the Wigan setup, was to I went and saw Morris again and asked him for some money to put into the weights room, clean it up, and we turned it into a weight training area where the players could come in and do some very serious weight training. And I think the weight training we did in the first season really has been a little bit of difference that we've had on all the other clubs. We were the first club to undergo serious weight training, and we brought Bob Lenigan over to help with the initial introduction of the weight training, and now we see the benefits where all our young players that are coming through are very big, strong players, and all our first team players are very big, strong players, more like the Australian style player than the older style English player. They're all well built, they're all heavily muscled, and they're all good athletes. And I think in the first couple of seasons that was a major difference between Wigan and the other clubs.
Do players of this standard ever reach a stage when training's not necessary, not required, when it's just a matter really of owning them into what you think will be just perfect specimens?
Well, coaching-wise, I think that's one of the mistakes that you can make when you think the team is ready and you don't think there's any need for any improvement, either in motivation or training techniques or anything like that. I think you've always got to be on top of it and never presume that a guy's okay and that he doesn't need any help. Even the best players need a tip here and there, and you know, I've always found that with the best players in the game, they're always prepared to come and talk about a problem they might have or to improve some form of their training, and the Wigan players are no different to the Australian players in that regard. They can, you know, I always never presume that they know it all.
Well, know it all or not, the money magic began to take effect in 1990 when the Regal Trophy became the first trophy on the shelf.
Gregory finds Edwards. There's the switch in play and the miss to Iro. Iro in space. Iro through. He's got Marshall with him. But Iro decides to slow down, but then drives away and still keeps going. Edwards is the support. Sean Edwards has scored the first try for Wigan. But that's been lost by Johnson. Dermot came in with a tackle. The touch judge, Mr. Brown, has seen the incident. Gregory puts Goodway clear. Will Goodway score? He switches to Hanley. Hanley's going to score. What a great piece of running that was. It was Lyons who got up there and certainly showed a heck of a lot of pace for number 7. Now Marshall in the gap, and Marshall running. There's Hanley. Is Hanley going to go all the way? It's Hanley against Anderson. Anderson versus Hanley. Hanley is going to score. Ellery Hanley for Wigan. Brilliant try. Dean Bell siding through. There's support for Hanley. There's Hanley. Oh, a hat-trick for Ellery Hanley. Great Wigan play. Now the organised play, the set move. Gregory dumming and then linking, and Goodway in the clear. A superbly worked try for Andrew Goodway. Ellery Hanley and Dean Bell going forward, up the steps. trophy. Well, John, obviously very pleased to have won your first trophy here in England.
Well, that's what I came over for, and I'm very happy for the club, and the players are very dedicated. We had a very tough run through, and when you win the big games, you know, that's what it's all about. It's good to get out there in the big games and for the players to perform, and, you know, I was very happy with the victory. Well, I think the place was set up good, and there was a lot of talent in the club, and like I said, I let the team play for the first month and didn't change anything, and by the end of the season, I think I'd sort of stamped my style on the side. And rugby league, it's really a momentum type thing, and when a club's got good players like Wigan had, well, all you need to do is get them all going in the same direction and then try and improve them as individuals. And the players are very proud in their performance, and, you know, and I looked after the teamwork as well. And I was really happy with the rugby league we were playing by the end of the season.
Happy? Well, most people would have been delighted. His first championship followed shortly afterwards. The game was against Leigh at Central Park.
Gregory drifts across, limps it side with Byrne. Byrne accelerates away. Oh, this could be a super try from Jet Byrne. Magic running from the right winger. Jet Byrne, what a try. The double dummy and the link with Goodway once more. Andrew Goodway driving, links with Bobby Goulding. Goulding scores, and Wigan have produced yet another set move and another try. Changing direction, Hampton linking from the back. Goodway to Hanley. Hanley's on his way. Almost a second try for Ellery Hanley, but we have to come back at least 20 metres. Kevin Allett said that pass was forward. The hooter has gone. Wigan have won the game. They've won the championship, and Leigh are doomed to second division football next season.
Central Park to Wembley then, and it was never a step that proved to be too difficult to take. The first Wembley final against Warrington.
Yeah, that was my first trip there, and things I remember about that, I remember there was a really an exciting buzz when we walked out of the tunnel with the roar of I think it was 90,000 people at the time, and the noise was enormous, and it was very exciting. It was very hard to keep your emotions in check, and after experiencing that, I can see why players do freeze up at Wembley and do get lost for 20 minutes and don't perform. But the things I remember about Wembley were, I remember Mark Preston's first try from an intercept right down in one corner, and then I remember his other try actually where we started play again deep in our own half, where Steve Hampson started a run and moved the ball onto Andy Goodway, and it went through quite Ellery and then Sean Edwards, and then I think Mark Preston scored again. And the other thing I remember about that Wembley is Adrian Shelford blowing one of his tap assignments where we'd practiced a move and Adrian had to run in a certain place, and we did the move in the first 5 minutes of the game, and Adrian Shelford didn't take the run that he was supposed to take. So they're the three things that I really remember about that first Wembley.
Lyon in position, well chased, well harassed. Oh, it could be a try. Betts has picked it up. Dennis Betts has scored. Oh, Dennis Betts has scored for Wigan. Again, Warrington used a saucer. Oh, Preston's got a flyer. Oh, Preston could score all the way here. David Lyon is chasing, but he hasn't got a hope. Mark Preston is going to score for Wigan. It was his dream, and he's made it. Edwards to Hanley. Hanley distributes to Arrow on the best. Oh, Kevin Arrow! The power of the man. The skill, the try. Kevin Arrow for Wigan. Wigan win possession. Oh, good play. Good play from Hanson. Driving away. Hanley's there. Oh, and Hanley's going. He's got Edwards outside. Edwards dummies. Gregory desperate. Oh, Preston's there. Mark Preston has scored his second try. And Wigan are way out. Gregory looking. And probably, almost through, still going. Links with Hanley. Ellery Hanley. Is he still going? Oh, Ellery Hanley scores again for Wigan. The power of the man.
After you've experienced Wembley, the hunger and the desire to go back is second to none, and it's a fantastic experience for really only a small amount of work. You've only got to win 4 games, or if, like Wigan this year, we were in the preliminary and you need to win 5 games. So for that small amount of work to get to play at Wembley in front of a 80,000 crowd is it's got to be the highlight of anybody's season. But in achievement, I look back at the First Division Championship and say, well, if we can be First Division champions, that means we've been the best team for 45 games or whatever we've had to play. We've been consistent over the 9 months, and that's a great honour as well. And we've won it 3 years in a row, and we're in with a good show in this last season.
Well, if ever consistency was needed, it was the following season. A season labelled by many Mission Impossible because of the outlandish number of matches that Wigan had to play in such a short period. But it wasn't too impossible.
And he's over! Skerritt's over! What a powerful run! A great run by Skerritt! Wigan setting another drop, perhaps. Golding tries another drop, and he's got it! 10 points to 2. Well, Goulding is crucifying them with these drop kicks this afternoon. Betts running through from the play the ball, charging forward, nearly taking them over. Martin Dermott coming up now. Dummying, and it's over! Martin Dermott's dummied his way over. Well, Wigan getting right into the ascendancy now. Wigan going for the line. And held just short. He scooted through there from half-back. Betts. Referee gives it as Betts goes over. Well, that must be it. 20 points to 2. Well, these Wigan forwards have played their hearts out. None more so than Dennis Betts, who gets his just reward with that try. There goes the hooter. Wigan are once more champions. Right to the end of the season, they've had to go. Done it they have. They must be a very happy team. They've had to play the guts out with an absolute glut of fictions. In the last one, they go off very, very proud players. Great victors over Leeds by 20 points to 6. Worthy champions of the Stones Bitter Championship.
£44,000 and championship medals for the 1991.
And the cup held aloft by Wigan. Once again, champions of the league. And no doubt they will be hoping to make it in a fortnight's time, to make it cup champions, league champions, and after the summer holidays, world champions. A fantastic team performance by a great squad of players.
Wembley beckoned again then. This time the opponents were St Helens. Was this when it first hit home about the rivalry between the two clubs?
No, I was very aware of the rivalry between the two clubs as soon as I arrived. The first press conference that I was at, one of the Wigan supporters said, we don't care what you do and what you win when you're here, as long as you take us to Wembley and you beat St Helens on Boxing Day, and they were the two requirements of most of the Wigan people.
Well, it may not have been Boxing Day, but his other two promises came true, didn't they? St Helens were the vanquished, and the ground once again Wembley.
Up, lining up with the referee, coming in very, very quickly at Wigan. Gregory puts in a kick. Beavers having to chase it back a long, long way in his own 25. The blue and white line of defence moves up, and he's lost the ball, and Wigan have it. They're going for the line. Up to Myers. Myers is inside, and Myers has scored. Well, 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 what a disorganized organised set at St Helens were then. To Gregory it goes. Gregory hands it on. Wigan still driving it in among the pack. Edwards wanting it now from the first pass, but it's misses out handling. It's Edwards who gets it. Wigan jumping away, tearing through, streaking down the wing. Can we get another try on here? And they go for the line. And they're in at the corner. Wigan have gone in at the corner. Lovely break down the centre of the field. The left wing pair surging down. Make it now. Wigan 10, St Helens 0. A wonderful moment for this great captain of Wigan's. Magnificent. There's the roar. Wigan's Cup once more. Honour and glory to what is the greatest of the present day teams.
You tasted defeat as well in that season, going out in the third round of the Regal Trophy to Widnes. So it's not all been about winning, has it?
No, well, you can't win them all, and the main thing with performance is that the team's consistent and we perform to the best of our abilities, and everybody at Wigan, particularly the players and the coaching staff, we know that you can't be in the first division and win games week after week after week. We can't win games just because we run out in a Wigan jumper. The players have got to perform on the day, and when you look back over a season, the players play in 45 games or something like that, and it's just fact of life that every now and then you're going to get beaten either by a better team on the day, you could get a bad decision, you could get a bounce of a ball go against you, and like I say, on Boxing Day this season, the St Helens were hot on the day. They didn't make any errors for about 65 minutes, I think, and they certainly gave us a hiding on the day. But if you front up every week and you're on top of the mountain like Wigan are, well, you know there are going to be days when you get rolled.
Division 1 champions again, Challenge Cup winners over St Helens again, and then along comes the World Club Championship and Penrith Panthers, a special night. Yeah,
it was. That was a very exciting night, and it was probably one of the highlights of my stay over here when we were able to take on those the Sydney Premiers, and they were a very good side, Penrith, that year, and they came over, and to take them, and particularly to go to Liverpool, and for an Australian to be at Liverpool where Craig Johnson had played, and I'd had a little bit to do with Craig Johnson, and it was exciting to be there, and then to win the game in the fashion that we won it. I thought we won the game very well, and we played some good rugby league on the night, so to win the game in the style that we won it was very satisfying for me.
Controversy, though, always seemed to surround the competition because of the overlapping seasons.
Well, in theory, it's a good idea, but when you look at the thing practically, it's not a very good idea. It's very hard for the players to finish their Sydney season and then come to England after the celebrations they have. It's a little bit like trying to win the premiership over here after you've played at Wembley, and until Wigan did it, I don't think anybody had ever achieved that. And I think the Australians had the same stumbling block coming after their grand final and then coming over here trying to play rugby league 2 or 3 weeks after the Sydney grand final.
Penrith now making a determined assault, doing their utmost to get over the Wigan line, spreading the ball out wide. Wigan defence having to get across, turned inside nicely onto the full-back Barbican. Nearly loses his head, he's going hard for the line. Wigan defence back in numbers, hold him just short of the line, and it's Carter coming over to act in half-back just short of the Wigan line, moving it across. Little dummy held. Alexander puts a nice little overhead kick in, and Willis surging through from the wing, comes over and gets Penrith's first try. 4 points then to Penrith. Wigan surging forward. Martin Terms as ever coming up behind the play, the ball out to Andy Gregory, and he shows his skill. A beautiful little dummy man to get out to Pannifer. Pannifer, lovely side step off his right foot, cuts inside and goes underneath for another 4 points to Wigan. Well, Sam Pannifer thoroughly enjoyed that as he went over the Penrith try to put Wigan ever closer to getting their hands on this World Championship Cup. Beautiful dummy that from Gregory, and Paniper backing up as ever, coming in strongly, bangs the ball down, making it easy for Botica. Penrith now coming hard again at the Wigan line. Wigan in their own 22, coming in hard, holding them down, but Penrith with Alexander behind the play of the ball, moving it out. Long pass, and Edwards has read it well. He's taken it cleanly, and it's a big chase is on as Bradley's after him. He has Myers with him on the outside. Nice pass out to Myers, beautiful at time, and Myers goes over, and that should put the nail in Penrith's coffin. Wigan, world champions, winners of Foster's World Cup Challenge for the second time.
Fixture pile-up or not, along came the Nissan Sevens. People said Wigan was stupid for going. The result proved otherwise.
Ophir gets out of a couple, inside the quarter. That's his 7th try for the tournament. So Wigan with the ball and taking it out through Andy Gregory. Away now for Ophir. Down the sideline, shut the gate. Chariots is going in again. 8th try of the tournament. Sean Edwards again. Away from Khan. Arc-like run, losing some ground. Bell for Ophir.
He's trouble.
Ophir stretching out now over the halfway. Beats the last line of defence. And Martin Ophir goes in for his 3rd try in the cup final.
Oh, brilliant play by Ophir. Showed more toe than a Roman sandal there. The 4-1 favourites for the competition. They'll take home the Nissan Sevens trophy.
Langer's dropout, landing right in the middle of the ground.
Oh, no.
Couldn't have landed for a worse player in opposition. Ophir out to Betts. Betts steaming down the sideline. Langer to beat. Khan comes at him. Ophir gets number 4.
Well, it wouldn't be anyone else, would it? Well, it's all over, Ray. Congratulations go to the Wigan. They've flown a million miles for this, and they've done very, very well. Wigan 18 have defeated Brisbane 6th.
Back to Central Park, another championship, and again Wigan were doing it in style.
Inside, up to Dennis Betts, he has Ophir with him. Ophir going for the line, Ophir's going to score! He got 5 of Burden, and there's his first this afternoon. Wigan moving it out wide, and here comes the break, the support inside. And it's Edwards again who's following up, and at last, no sign of the groin injury there. Come to Ophir, fires through, tremendous drive, oh, he left them for dead, and he does his little dance. But that's the Ophir pace, the Ophir of speed. Came through like a jet-propelled rocket to go.
The Twin Towers called, Wigan returned to Wembley, but does it still hold a buzz, having been there so often before?
Well, it certainly does. Wembley is the greatest competition, knockout competition that I've ever been involved in. When I was at Parramatta, we won the Panasonic Cup, which was a midweek competition, and it was great to win that. But to be able to play in 5 games and be successful in 5 games and get to Wembley and be able to play in front of 80,000 people in one of the best sports arenas in the world is something that every player that's been there and every coach that's been there will remember for the rest of their life. So it's the greatest cup competition that I've ever been involved in.
Wigan now doing the run around. Betts had a lot of injury this week, been suffering with his ankle ligaments. Just the man for Wembley, he's a big lad. Long pass out to Ophir. Fire puts a grubber kick in, appeals for obstruction. Referee doesn't give it, and the referee has given a try. The ball went loose over the line. Wigan following up after Ophir's kick. Brute force. Dermot now makes a break. Can they get with him? Up to Edwards. Edwards is going to score! And who was with him? Sean Edwards. Wigan surging through over the halfway line onto Edwards. Edwards puts a kick in. A Fire's chasing it. There's a race on for the ball here. Who's going to be there first? And a Fire's there first. The speed of a Fire. The speed of a Fire. Edwards handing it on. There's an overlap. A Fire bringing it inside. And Wigan are over in the corner. Wigan are over in the corner.
Wigan then in the Premiership finals. The opposition St Helens, but it's not a competition that Wigan have enjoyed the best of success in.
Well, I think it's just the timing of that particular competition, and if you're successful in the First Division Championship and you're successful at Wembley, I think it's impossible to win that competition. Well, really, we did the impossible, and we came out and we kept our momentum going, and we won that Premiership final, which was great. But again, it was a very tough game for 60, 65 minutes, and it could have gone either way. And then I think Gene Miles did something that busted them open and put Martin Offier away down a wing, and then the floodgates open. But that is a very hard competition to win if you've been successful throughout the season.
He's going to score! A Fire back in the game. No, Wigan going inside, still on the feet. Dermot moving it out onto Edwards. Edwards to Clark. Clark handing it on. Wigan turning it inside, going for the line, and they're over under the post. Edwards handing it on. There's a big gap, and Wigan flag goes through, keeping it moving. Big overlap, and Wigan can't get shut of the ball in an overlap of three, and it's still going. Out onto Myers, and he's going in at the corner. Bottic inside to Clark. Clark handing it on. Wigan are in. Miles is in. Well, Wigan rubbing the noses in it at the moment. Ball smothered, 5 tattles gone, says John Holsworth, as Dermot gets it out to Edwards. Edwards a short one to a Fire! And he appeared in the middle, and he goes over again! Whipped it back onto Edwards. Edwards so elusive, keeping it moving. Ball's loose on the floor, it's Cowie! I beg your pardon, it Betts, lighter Dennis Betts there.
Scenes at Old Trafford then that Manchester United would have been proud of. Scenes that brought yet another team victory and another coaching award. Does John Mooney put a lot of store in these awards?
If they come along, that's good. And, you know, I think when it's all over, I'll probably look back on it and reflect on it and think, well, you know, that they were nice awards and they were nice for me personally. But while it's all happening, I'm more concerned about Wigan playing good rugby league and the team performing to their potential week in and week out. So I don't really look at things in the personal glory type thing. You know, I'm not really into that. I'd rather give the players the publicity and the players the credit, because the players are really what it's all about. And if you haven't got good players all going in the same direction, well, we're not going to be successful. And to me, the players are the ones that should get most of the credit.
The Lancashire Cup final against St Helens at Knowsley Road followed on. A much maligned competition, but for my money, one of the most intense finals I've ever witnessed.
Well, it was certainly a very tough and a hard-fought contest. They had Jared McCracken was in that St Helens side, and I think he gave them a little bit more steel, particularly out in the back line, than they usually have shown in the past. And he one of his clashes with Dean Bell will be remembered, when, you know, two really tough guys met head on. And that was a very tough game. There was nothing in it, and again, another clash between St Helens and Wigan that could have gone either way. Both sides played really well. The defences were ferocious on the day, and and in the end we just got them with I think Botts kicking a field goal.
Wigan 5, St Helens 4.
What's the magic formula then? What is it that makes Wigan so successful?
We've got a lot of good people at the club. We've worked hard. We've got a lot of talented players who train as hard or harder than any players at any other club. And the organisation's good, the administration's good, I feel the coaching's good, and the playing strength and the scouting's good. So it's a very good organisation. Everybody works hard at their job, and that's why we've been successful.
Many reasons for success then. Preparation and attention to detail as important as any. And even an accomplished coach like John Money will still admit the need to do his homework.
I always do a highlight tape off the tapes, and I always, every now and then when I feel the players are getting a little too cocky and a little too confident, I'll do a low light tape where I show them all the bad things they've done in the game. See, like there, just Forshaw and Andy Farrell make this tackle, and the guy gets up and plays the ball before they do. See, they're both on the ground. He's played it forward and he's gone again. Fazza and Mike Forshaw, you're both on the ground when your man played the ball forward. Okay, so when you make your tackle today, make sure you're the first one up. So you've got to get up, you've got to get into position. Right, Forsh? Yeah? Don't be lying on the ground when they get up and play the ball. In the first half, you've got to pick up better things than 1 yard, 2 yards, 3 yards, all right, with your runs. You've got to get into them. Get 5s and 6s and 7s. And if Kelvin goes on one, you be coming on the next one. And then if Derms doesn't want to use you, if there's an overcall, well, we might go. But if you see Kelvin take one up, well, you get the next one. And just be looking at advantage line running, try and get the ball into them. Okay, doesn't matter what we do, we just got to get the job done and win the game.
He may not raise his voice a lot, but there's true conviction there, and you can understand why those lads went out and won what proved to be the 4th and final championship for John Money.
As Wigan once again break through the gap. Quick play by Wigan, moving it across the line. Switched inside. And Wigan are over. Taking it up the field, and there's a high, dangerous ball. And it's been taken by Wigan. Can they keep it moving? Going for the line. Is he going to get in? He's going for the corner. And he's in. And he's held a yard short. Boddicker tearing down the fielder. Wigan now right hot on the attack. Moving the ball across the line. Trying to crash the way over. And they're in. They're in.
Another victory then, another night to remember at Central Park. But what about those splendid supporters?
Well, they've given the team great support since I've been here, and I think the support that we got at Ellen Road last weekend when we played in the semi-final of the Challenge Cup, I thought if there were 20,000 people there, I bet there was 16,000 there from Wigan. And when we were going over in the coach, it seemed like every car we passed or a car that passed us were Wigan supporters, and they were flying the colours. The cherry and white was everywhere, and I know the players were aware of it, and I was aware of it before the game. The fact that that stadium was full, and there were 20,000 there, and most of them were wearing the cherry and white of Wigan, and that's a sort of support that really might be one of the winning edges that Wigan have. That great support that we get from the terraces. So you know, speaking on the team's behalf and speaking on my own behalf, I think the support and the supporters that we've got at Wigan are second to none.
second to none indeed, and once again they turned out in their thousands to head for London as Widnes became the latest victims to climb into the Lions' den.
Will we see an up and under off Bobby Golding? A high crossfield kick. Steve Hampson's under it. Myers is there. The ball bounces back. It'll be back to one for Widnes. Myers collects and plays on. Almost got away from Jason Robinson there, David Myers. 6 more tackles for Widnes. David Hume thought about passing, but really they don't want to waste the ball here. Kurt Sorensen straightens up, but it's a big hit against Kurt. Paul Hume, the Widnes switch the ball for the blind. Bobby Golding has he scored? Yes, Vittiers has scored for Widnes, and I've just won a few bob. Widnes have opened the scoring on their first attack 6 minutes into the game.
Wigan at 6s and 7s, not organised. Philip Clark held just short of the line again. It's all Wigan at the moment. On to Edwards, Edwards holding it, gets it onto Bell. Wigan moving it across, going for the line, Wigan should score! Wigan are in. Skerrett, using his weight and his bulk, forces his way over. A try to Skerrett then.
Widnes now charging forward with Senny Familo, tackled short of the 20-metre line though. And you can hardly have time to catch your breath in this game. Don't put the kettle on yet. David Hume on the 20-metre line. Paul Hume, Kurt Sorensen, well, he'd love to score in this, and he's going to score. Kurt Sorensen has scored for Widnes. Well, would you believe that? That is sheer determination. He got the ball a bit early on in the game and went straight for the line. And I wondered then if Kurt just wanted to finish off his career by scoring at Wembley.
Wouldn't die with it. Little overhead kick has been charged down. Edwards gets it back. What is the referee going to signal? 5th tackle. Wigan on the last tackle. Looking to give it back. Ready for the kick. And there it goes out towards Devereux's wing. Spruce is going back with him. And that's a great kick by Sean Edwards. Saves it. Taken by Devereux. He's in the field of play. He's lost possession. Wigan lob it inside. And they're going to score! Wigan moving it inside. Dean Bell got it going. No way through. Wigan keeping the ball alive. They did well to slip it there. And the gap's on, and Wigan are going for the try line. And the feet are taken from behind. And Wigan are bounced down 15 metres out. Wigan hot on the attack now in these early minutes of this half. Moving the ball well across the line. Going hard, Wigan are in! And in the opening minutes, Panoper goes over underneath the post. Wigan coming out with tremendous drive and power. 3 minutes gone in this half. Sam Panoper, brought on a sub, goes over underneath the post. He's an amazing man, this, given a free transfer at the beginning of the season, and every time in a big game he seems to pull something off.
King John, His Majesty, call him what you like. At Central Park, they just love him.
The greatest coach on earth and the brilliant captain, Jamoni Hima!
The rain poured down on Central Park then as they prepared for the greatest show on earth, Part 2. The Stars turned out in force and it didn't dampen their ardour, even though Wigan had fallen just one place short of that memorable Rugby League Grand Slam.
Well, I like to win all the games that we compete in at Wigan, and disappointing day at Old Trafford, but we weren't good enough on the day, so I guess 4 major trophies will have to do us.
What's given you the most pleasure? Which trophy? Which game?
Well, I think looking back on the whole experience, I think winning the First Division Championship 4 years in a row and being at Wembley and winning 4 years in a row, they're a double that I don't think will ever be repeated. They'll only be repeated by Wigan. So when I look back at my time, I think that's probably the highlight.
Any particular player that you think you've improved?
Not really. I'm quite proud of the fact that I feel I've made the older players play better, and I've brought the young talent along, and I haven't sent anybody backwards. I haven't turned anybody into a worse player, so I'm quite contented with what I've done at Wigan over the last 4 years.
Is that why you're leaving? Because you feel you've done everything that can be done here?
No, I think I've been here for 4 years as a coach, and 4 years is really long enough. If you're still in a place after 4 years and you haven't been fired, well, you've probably done pretty well. So I'm quite happy with what I've achieved over the 4 years, and time has come to move on.
Sad to leave Wigan, or glad that you're moving back to the sunshine?
Oh no, I'll be. I'm looking forward to going home, but the experience at Wigan has been great. I've enjoyed it, my wife's enjoyed it, and we've made a lot of friends here, so when the time comes to move, it's always a sad time, but on the other hand, we're looking forward to going home, so a little bit of sadness and a little bit of good feeling about going home.
The celebrations carry on then, but what about the players? What do they think of the great man's departure?
In one way, very sad. Another way, relieved. He's a very hard man, you know. He's a good trainer.
Of the coaches that you've worked under, how does he rate?
Definitely number one. Definitely. I've had, you know, Graham Law, Colin Clark, Malcolm Riley. You know, I've been under a few, but as a tactician and you know, as a sound bloke, he's the number one in my book anyway.
And how's he going to do in Auckland?
Well, I think he's going to do a fine job. No matter where he goes, he's a professional bloke. You know, in the Sydney League, you know, he's no donkey. You know, he's going to go out there and give his all, like he did at Parramatta. And I think he's, you know, I won't say he's learned something at Wigan, but he's one of the best people I know for man management, and he's a very good coach as well.
You sad to see him go?
Oh, certainly. I mean, you know, a coach of his calibre, you know, you're always sad to see go, but you know, he's going on to a new venture in Auckland Warriors. You know, we just like to wish him the best, but we're receiving a new coach in John Doherty, and hopefully we'll learn new things from him.
How do you rate John Money?
Well, you know, he's on par with Graham Lowe as the best coach that I've been under. Certainly, he's made me a better player, and I'm very thankful for it.
How does he do that? Is it motivation, or is it tactics? What has he got?
It's a bit of everything, really. A lot of discipline. He's installed that into my game, and he's got a bit of everything, John. I mean, I think that's what makes him a great coach. It's just not one thing that you can put your finger on.
He's a great coach. He's helped me a lot since I've been here. It was a bit shaky at the start. He obviously wanted Phil Blake to start with, but he gave me the chance to show myself, and once I did so, he was helping me all the way through.
How did he help you? What did he show you to do?
Well, he just gave me tips about what I should be doing and where I should be going, as well as the other players, and Dean Bell especially, who helped me along. But he's kept not only myself but the whole team on track and in line, and that's why we've won so many trophies.
John, I wish you and Julie all the very best.
Another season comes to an end then, and with it, yet another chapter in the history of Wigan Rugby League Football Club. Once again, there'll be uncertainty, apprehension, and perhaps more doubt than ever before. But one thing's for sure, the man labelled by many His Majesty leaves a legacy which will remain in the hearts of all rugby league supporters for many years to come.